getting balance in our emotions comes from the understanding of our true self and our objective self. I mean, like differentiating for the self consciousness, right? The awareness of self that comes from an eternal standpoint, our eternal essence, recognizing that we are in a temporary state of being in our body, right? And in our experiences on this earth, right? But coming from that eternal standpoint that this is temporary. So taking it out of the context that life circumstances are the end all be all, because that's what helps right there. Is to understand the truth. And the truth is that you are eternal, right? And eternal beings have choice, and I'm not trying to make it so like to say it's like, oh, it's easy to choose, you know what I'm saying? You just got to know that you're an eternal being and that it is. No, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing, but it's possible, right? It's possible with the practice to understand how to regulate and it's not just regulating your emotions, it's finding that homeostasis, right? Your body comes into a state of homeostasis naturally, right? But that's also a different part of consciousness, but your body comes into balance, because balance is our natural state of being, whether physical or non-physical, right? So you're learning how to find the balance of your essence, your being, and realizing that you have the control over that. And I'm not saying to be controlling of your life and the things that happen in your life and try to dictate every single thing, but to realize that those things don't have power over you, that you have power over them. So if you're in a state that you don't want to be in a state of being, in a state of feeling, in a state of emotion that you don't want to be in, you have the ability to change it. And I'm not saying it's easy as done, but you can do this and sustain that state of being by understanding who you actually are, right? And when I say differentiating the objective self from the eternal self, I mean coming into your consciousness, coming into the awareness of your essence, right? Kind of like if you think about Blue's Clues, right? And he jumps into Blue and what's his name jumps into the book, right? And now they're in the story, but they can also jump out of the book and they're the observer of the story. You become the observer of your own story, right? And you realize you are the character in the book, but you are also more than the character in the book. Therefore, you have control, right? Not full control. Life is going to happen how it's going to happen, but you have choice. You have the opportunity to choose how your story is going to go. What moves you're going to make within your story that is going to cater to how you want to move, how you want your story to go, right? So you don't have full control, right? If you think about the butterfly effect, every action has a reaction, every action is within the fabric of life, right? So you don't have full control because the things that you do, everything that you do, every little move you make has a ripple effect, right? So you're not controlling everything, but you have power of that choice that you want to make in your life. You know what I'm saying? And God has the rest, right? God, the all energy, the all essence, right? That God is the oneness. You know what I'm saying? The supreme intelligence deals with the rest, but you have free will. Free will is that choice to choose, right? And you have more power than you think because that choice, right, is coming from the energy of the all. You are an extension of the energy of the all. So that power comes from the energy of the all, right? And everything you do and every move you make and every choice that you make in your full essence, So it's pretty cool because when you're in a state of mind where you think there's, you're doomed, the doom and gloom, the bottom of the barrel, when you're in it, you know what I'm saying? You have the ability to pull yourself out of it by becoming the observer, right? By seeing this physical self and your physical situations as a part of the story, and you seeing yourself beyond the story. Yes, part of your essence is in the story at this moment, but you can also pull yourself out and realize the story is temporary, right? How do you choose to feel within it? How do you choose to manifest within it? And that's how you can find balance. And that's not just, it goes beyond balance of just your emotions, but it's like I said, the external, or not even external, the homeostasis of your essence coming back to your point of center, which is your consciousness, which is your awareness of self, right? Because when you pull yourself out of the situation and kind of objectify the physical self in your in the situation that you're in, you're at a state of peace looking in, you know what I'm saying? You're at the eternal point where you're like, I can't be threatened here. You know what I'm saying? Your essence can never be threatened because that is the eternal part of you. That's the part that will never end, right? So what is there to fear at that point, right? That is your solid ground right there, But you have to know about it. You have to kind of have faith in your essence as an eternal being in order to use it properly to find that balance within your life, And that's kind of the journey to self. I was talking about the journey to self, but it's kind of like getting back to understanding yourself, you know what I'm saying, to the true self, and realizing how much power you have over your quality of life, the initial step is understanding that standpoint, right? So that you can make decisions based on that standpoint. So you can understand how to regulate and where that regulation comes from and how to sustain it, because it's not temporary. It's something that can be used over and over again to help you find balance and help you feel satiated within your essence, within your being, rather than just going with the waves of the ups and the downs of life. You can kind of get a grasp on it, you know what I'm saying, and find your balance, be kind of steady as the ups and downs go along. You kind of just flow with the ups and downs, still feeling. And I'm not talking, this is not about finding a numbness within it and kind of just separating yourself from your experiences within life. No, this is kind of like you're able to dive deeper within it, right? But just maintain your balance through it, no matter how dark it gets. Because when you're on that journey to finding your light, it will get dark. Like I said, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So that opposite comes on heavy. And your job is to find your balance within it and understand what is real and what is not real, right? And that balance, love is always real. The only thing that's real is love, because the fear is the unreal part of it. The fear is it's part of the temporary. It's part of the fleshly part of it. That fear. That's the kind of life that we're living in now is based in fear. But the truth of life is based in love, right? Because God is love and God is the eternal oneness, and you are a part of that eternal oneness. So when you're within life and you're within situations that's telling you to fear, you're constantly learning how to relinquish that fear when you find that balance, right? The fear is going to come, but you're not necessarily deflecting it. You're learning how to say, oh, this is not real. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is not real, as it comes over and over again, as you're triggered over and over again, So it's worth it. It's worth it to kind of face these things, but face it from the point of knowing what is real and what is unreal, And that's not to say that the demons that you're confronted with will be any easier. It's not easier. It's a way towards healing,